Hi, this is Patty DePriest, and welcome to Educate Academy, brought to you by the Kentucky Academy of Technology Education. We are going to start our journey on using Google Slides in the classroom. Just so you know, Google Slides is probably my favorite Google tool. The reason I like it so much is because I really agree with Casey Bell when she termed it the Swiss Army knife of applications. That's because I don't use it for presentations. Well, actually I do. But there are so many other things that you can use it for. And we're going to look at some of those today, and then we'll look at other uses in the next two classes. If you're unfamiliar with Google Slides, I will attach a couple videos to the assignment, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how to actually use it. But I will demonstrate how to create some of these things that we're going to do with Google Slides. And then I'll probably attach other articles and things that will give you other ideas on how to use slides in your classroom. So today we're going to talk about activities that I call collaborative slides. We're going to look at two different ways to do collaborative slides. They're super easy to do, to put together for your class. They get your class all working in one document. It allows you the freedom to watch what they're doing and give them feedback. With the first method, you could actually on the fly create a Google Slide document that your students can get into and react to a question with in under a minute. Let's get started. So one method of doing this is where you actually create a Google Slide presentation. The easiest way to create a new slide presentation or file is to go to slides.google.com/create. This is going to automatically create a new presentation. I put that in quotation marks because we're not going to be using it as a presentation. Once it loads, we're going to close the themes, give us more space to work, and we are going to then create a title document or beginning document. This might have your question in it. It might ask students to think critically about something or to respond in a way to kind of reflect on what they've been doing in class. So let's say, as a really simple idea, we want them to add your question to your slide. So we're going to come in here and click, and we're going to ask students to add a selfie or an image. Okay, so that just went off the top. So all we're going to do is select that, and we're going to change our size. We'll bring it down to 36. Then you might give them a little bit more specific. That's what they're going to do, but we want them to add. Okay, so very simple. It took me a little bit longer to do it because I'm thinking in front of a microphone, but you can change this, you can change your background and title it. Once we get that created, we're going to go ahead and go to Classroom. And this is the way we're going to share it with our students. Now you can share it in other ways. You can create a group in Google Contacts, and once you're on here, you can go to the Share button. You can share by email. If you've created a group, then that group has a name. For example, I have an Educate group. It has 136 contacts in it. All I have to do is click on that and it adds all of those contacts in there. I'm going to cancel that, but you can do it that way. But in Classroom, you would go into the class, and then you're going to go to Classwork, and you're going to create an assignment. Here you're going to just say reflection. Because in Google Classroom you can't add a lot of details as far as formatting, you can keep your instructions very simple here. Just type in, open the file, read the instructions, add a slide, good to go. We're going to actually add the assignment here. When we add a file, it's going to come up with our most recent. Click Add. And then we're going to give the students right. We want them to all be able to edit this file. Okay, they're going to add a slide, then they're going to add their selfie, and then they're going to reflect and answer those questions. All I got to do now is assign it. So I'm going to assign it here, and it is going to show up in here. Okay, so when they go into it, I'm in the teacher mode, so I'm not going to see exactly what you're seeing. You would go to View Assignment. It would bring it up. You could click on, actually right here, it's going to open it for them. Then they're going to go and they're going to add a file. So we're going to go click, and we're just going to click here, and they're going to go to Insert and Insert by Camera if they're going to do a selfie. All their laptops, Chromebooks, phones, whatever they're doing this on should have a camera, or they can go to Google Drive, they can go to Google Photos, they can go to the Explore tool, or they can upload it directly from their computer. So on their own thing, they're just going to go ahead and add those things. Speaker's notes are down here. They'll click, put their name, and reflect on what we just asked them. For you, if you get good at this and you do it all the time, it's not going to take very long. You're going to know more about what you're doing in your class. You're going to know the question you want to ask. You put it together even on the fly, do it the day before, right before class, add it as an assignment, share it with your students, and bam, they have access to it. And that's a very quick and easy collaborative slide. What we really want is we want the students to show us what they know and to reflect on this. Once they've done it, you can actually have them, as part of the assignment, to go in and actually comment on each other's. They can agree or disagree, but you want them to get past just, I agree with you, or that's a great reflection. You want them to actually add why they think it is great, or maybe add something that they feel about that character to their comment. So you're getting them past and into more critical thinking with their assignment. Okay, so the next method we're going to do, and here is an example of it. This is actually from Alice Keeler, and she creates a direction slide. And notice it's gotten inserted a few different times. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then she creates a student slide. On the direction slide, they can't click anywhere and do anything to it. They could add a text box, but then they'd be adding to the slide. It really is not going to hurt it. This just has add your name, and they had to type their name in. They're going to actually add their answer on their slide. So how do you do this? All right, I'm going to come here, and again, I'm going to go to slides.google.com/create, and we're going to call this, okay, we're going to come over here and we're going to close our theme because we're not going to use a theme. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to come to the slide that is automatically created for you, and you're going to right click and you're going to click delete. All right, so you have no slides open. You're then going to go to view and you're going to go to the master. Notice we've got all these different templates to pick from. You're going to click here and you're just going to delete. Okay, we don't have any layouts. This one you can't get rid of. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to add a new layout. And we don't want this here, so I'm going to click on it and delete it. So now I'm going to customize this. I can rename it, and I'm going to call this directions. I am going to add a background, and I really like the idea of making my direction slide a different color than the color of the slide where the students are going to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and change the background. I'm going to go to color, and I can choose a solid color. I happen to like the gradients, and so I can come here and I can pick a color, and then I can say done. Don't make it real complicated. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a text box. Now this is my text box. This is a placeholder. When you're creating your actual student slide, you will actually do this. But to create a text box for everything that we're going to add to our slide, we're going to click that. We're going to draw our box. We can come up here and use the same menu that we would use otherwise. I'm going to choose my font, choose my size, and then I'm going to call this directions. Then I'm going to come down here and get another text box, and I am going to create a text box. In here, I will actually type my directions. They're going to be on the master. That means the students can't go in and change them. So I'm going to add my instructions here. All right, once I'm done typing in my instructions, I like to personalize my directions, something that Alice Keeler recommends, and I've seen it elsewhere. So I might want to go in and add a picture of me or a little, GIF or something. It's up to you. I happen to have the Bitmoji app here. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to say, all I have to do is right click on it, copy the image, come down here, right click, paste, and I've got the image. All right, now I'm done my direction slide. The next thing I'm going to do is add another slide. I'm again going to get rid of this. I'm going to do a right click. I am going to change the background, pick a color. I like gradients. I already told you that. I'm going to pick a blue for this one, say done. And then I'm going to go back through that same process, but it's a little bit different. Again, the text that I want me to type in, I am going to click the text box, and then I'm going to type in here, make it big, and we will type in name. Okay, now they're not able to type next to that, so I have to add another placeholder. We'll call it a title placeholder because we want it big. and we'll give them that much space to actually type their name. We're not going to delete anything in there, just leave it. All right, so the next thing they need to be able to do is type whatever you have them doing. So I can put in a body placeholder if they're older kids and going to type more. If they're younger kids and they're going to be typing less, I might put in the subtitle placeholder. I can use a shape and just say, draw something here and double click in it, say add image here. They can just place it over that. They can, it's not going to really be a big deal. If I want it centered, I'm going to come over here, add it there, and I'm done. Now, go to my little drop down and I have two options. I have my directions slide and I have my student slide. And I forgot to rename that one, but you saw how to rename it. Call that student. So here's my directions. I close the document with this open. I again go into my Google Classroom. I assign it the same way. Same sharing, and I want my students to edit this. When they come in, they're going to come down here to the drop down, and I could give them the first couple times a little kind of handout on how to do this with pictures, and they're going to choose the student slide, which I didn't rename, and they're going to come here and then they can click here and they can type their name. They'll come down here and click and they will type in their text, and then they will go wherever they're going to go to get their image and bring it in, and they can add it here. Whether it covers that or not, I can make that box smaller, but just I want them to add an image. That's it. That's all there is to it. Each student is going to go in there and click, add. And by the time you're done, what you're going to do is you're going to come here, and you can do this on both types of collaborative slides. Come down here to the bottom. We're going to come to grid view. And so in grid view, I can see every slide that every student is working on. I can read their name because I made it big enough. I took the heading font, and I will be able to see every slide. I can come here, click on this one, double click, open it, read it, come back to grid view. I can add comments to it if I want to. If I open it up, how do I add comments? I highlight the text, I come up here to comment, and it's going to add the comment. Type my comment in, the student will see it. They're getting feedback as they're working. They're able to make those changes as they're working with collaborative slides. Some ideas. All right, as I mentioned, you want to limit your directions in Google Classroom. Put them all on here in your slide. Expect the students to follow the slides in here. What happens if a student deletes somebody else's slide? Tell them to create another one. They're free. If you really, you're going to have tears maybe from some of the students. They'll get over it. Another option is they can go into File, they can go to Version History, they can see the version history, they can find their slide, right click and copy it, get out of that, come here, click, right click, and paste. All they have to do is bring it back. So it's really not that big a deal. It's going to happen. If they delete the title slide, come in here, let's say they come in here, delete. Oh no, the title slide gone. I don't know what the directions are. Have somebody go in and add the directions again. You can move it up to the top and on they go. So no big deal. While they're doing this, you're giving them feedback, watching what they're doing, sitting next to them, doing some one-on-one or small group work. You're interacting with your students. You're not that talking head in front of the class. You're letting them work and you're working with them instead of talking. Okay, some different ideas for actually using this activity. You can give them a simple question or a prompt. You can create a virtual manipulatives page. Let them copy it for each other. This would be a great elementary idea. They can move them around, write in if you have them doing math equations from the manipulative, write in their answers, and then reflect on what they did. You can have them create ads. You can have them create billboards. This can be about the topics that they're studying in the classroom. They can create graphic organizers while they're working on their slide. Google Slides has all kinds of graphic tools that are built in. Almost everything that is in Google Drawings is like right here. You can use these things to create all kinds of stuff. They can create a infographic. You might show them some examples of infographics and let them create their own on the topic that they've just learned about. They can share an idea with the class. Maybe it's, something you're just starting to learn about and you want some input from the class. Let them go in and share some ideas of what they can do to show what they've learned. You can check for understanding. Beginning of the class, end of the class, just let them reflect on what they've learned. You can have them take a picture of their paperwork. Have them hold it up to the camera, put it on the slide, reflect on the process of what they just did. Yeah, paper is it's not a pedagogy and it's not a bad word. You can still use paper in your classroom. If it is something that they're doing on paper that doesn't really translate to be much different, digitally, then let them do it on paper and then just let them return it in maybe digitally so you don't have all those papers to carry around with you. At the beginning of the year, you can use this kind of activity to get to know your students, or you can do something, once a quarter, and ask them to reflect on the music that they like or the book types of books or the authors that they like and create a slide on that so you're getting to know them better. A quick tip, when you're creating this, if you need to do this on the fly, if you hold down the control or command key and hit T, you get a new tab. Type in slides.google.com/create. You create your new slide presentation. Makes it fast. That's it for today. I will be adding some things for you to read. They're really not really intense things to read. They're ideas for how to use Google Slides, similar to what we've already done. Things to help you to do this kind of thing in your own classroom. I hope this has sparked some ideas for classroom use, and if you come up with something that you really think would be a great idea for this, please add it to the classroom discussion. You can add it as a comment to the actual assignment, or you can add it to the stream. I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you online.